to compliment your dress. You know I love me that satin look, and with the
Thank
braids, it's just a
you.
whole look. It's a whole look.
No, listen, I love your look. One thing about us, we love to hype each other up. I love your look, and I feel like we're embracing like summertime fun
Yeah.
and all of those things.
Our braids still going strong. It's been about week 3.
Yes.
And for us, that's good.
That's good. We are holding on them strong. But I think, in the summertime, you don't really want to deal with your hair. And so braids are really helping us through this season.
Yeah, because I talk to my mom like every day. So one morning I call her and we change up our hair a lot. And she was like, girl, what you doing to your hair next? And I was like, Mom, Tati's wedding is in a few weeks. So I'm going to try my hardest to keep these braids in, because if I take them out, I'll be looking crazy. Because me wearing my natural hair this summer, it's not the move. And she was like, you right. Go ahead and keep those braids in. So I'm trying to bring myself subject to that. So
BJ cracks me up because she will give herself a timeline. Oh, I'm going to take him out this date. And then you talk to her maybe like a couple days later and the braids are out. Yeah. And I'm like, BJ, what happened?
God is doing a work in me. I'll say that. He is. So anyway, I can go down that whole hair train,
Yes.
Check out, stay on the lookout in my stories, and you'll be able to keep up with what I've done to my hair, what's happening. So, but I'm really excited to have today's conversation.
Yes.
We thought that it would be really good to just, in this season of our life, talk about different things that we have learned and we are still learning. And so we're just going to be having a candid conversation about that. Yes. And do you want to start it off?
I'll go first. Okay. Yes. So one thing that I'm learning in this season, and it's taken me a while to grasp, is how to say no. And as a formal people pleaser, I struggle with that. And in this season, I've had to say no because I know my priorities. And my fiance has been helping me, holding me accountable with this, because he's like, you're not about to spread yourself thin. Yeah. You're not about to be everywhere and then stressed out and things like that. So it's been something that I've had to learn very fast. And I'm grateful. Like, I've been able to put me first. And there's nothing wrong with that, And that's something that I'm like, okay, like, I'm taking it and I'm encouraged, and yeah.
Yeah. And what I am learning is that no is a complete thought. It is a complete thought. It's a complete sentence. Because one thing about people, including ourselves, is we tend to at times be selfish. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like we are laser focused on things that we have going on in our lives.
Absolutely.
And if you don't learn the concept of saying no early, I feel that years from now, you will have a lot of regret. Mm-hmm. And by that is because if you're just showing up to things that you really don't want to be, mm-hmm. and doing things that you really don't want to do, and you see other people that are taking control of their lives and they are firm in their, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I don't have the mental capacity to be there right now. Yeah. Then you will start to regret, like, well, why am I here? Why am I? And it is simply because you didn't say no. You didn't stand up for yourself. So I love that. Yeah. I really love that you said that. And something that I'm learning is where there is a will, there is a way. Mm-hmm. And going into that notion of being selfish, there are things out there, if people really want to be somewhere, if they really want to do something, if I really want that pair of shoes, whatever is in my way blocking me from what I desire, I am going to move mountains to get it.
By any means necessary.
Doing it by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. That's right. And so that's something that I'm learning. And that helps me be able to say no. Because I'm like, actually, No. And if I want to add a little razzle dazzle, it's absolutely not. We're
Come
not doing
on.
that.
I love
And
that.
so I really love that. And I think it's a concept that a lot of people need to embrace. I feel like you'll live a happier life.
No, absolutely. Definitely will. It's freeing to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So, listening to what you're saying, it brings me to my next point of accepting hard things. And in this season, as we're adults, as all of us are entering into another level of adulthood, we're having to hear people be like, hey, unfortunately, I won't be able to do this, or unfortunately, I won't be able to do that. And so for me, it's hard to hear because you have
Yeah.
expectations and you expect certain things. And I think that's kind of what you were saying. And so it's just kind of like, I have to accept your hard truth. I have to accept what you're putting before maybe something that I think is very like at the top of my list. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so through this wedding process, not everybody is looking at my wedding as the event of the year, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I have to accept, okay, you know, hey, they don't they don't they don't
Yeah.
want to come or they can't
Yeah,
come.
they can't
But it can
show
be
up.
two. It could be
Yeah.
two. Some people don't want to come.
Right.
And I've
And
had that situation. And then I've had people to be like, no, actually, I really can't make it.
but I think that it hurts. It
It
because
hurts.
I've been there last year, and it hurts. But it's like I respect that. I respect you saying no, I can't show up, or I don't really want to show up, then still being there, being involved, and now the energy's off, and it's just like it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that I'm not gonna lie, for me is still hurtful because we're human, and
Yeah.
we have hearts, and we have a level of sensitivity and emotion to
Yes.
certain things. And so while yes, you need to say no, it is still very hard for me to receive that because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it can be a form of rejection.
Yeah. Ooh.
And you feel like me and you
Yeah.
always talk about, and especially you're like, but go deeper,
Yeah.
go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about
Mm.
why is someone saying no affecting me the way that it is, I go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I feel like I'm being rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
who wants to be rejected?
No. Yeah. That's good. No, that's really good. And it's another thing that I'm thinking about. It's not on my list, but it's not taking things personally. Like it's
Mm,
not always personal. And I love that you said that. Like I have feelings and I feel rejected, and someone else may not have thought about it that way.
yeah,
May have not thought about it as deeply as
yeah,
it took you. And I always think about just like our experiences in life shape us
yeah,
and make us guarded in certain areas.
yeah,
And so, like you said, when you have been there for friends and they can't be there for you, there's that rejection. And so it takes you to a place that you weren't expecting.
yeah,
And so you're like, wait, I gotta heal in that area.
yeah,
And so for me, I'm trying to remind myself, don't take it personal.
yeah,
But you owe me a conversation.
yeah.
And once we communicate,
Right.
then we can move forward.
Yeah.
So
And then something that I had to learn, and I think I've shared this with a few people, is because sometimes someone can be 100, like in a season where I'm 100 and
mm-hmm,
they're 50,
mm-hmm,
and I feel like I'm carrying the load of that relationship.
that's good.
But when it's my turn to be 50, I feel like you said, they are considering themselves, and that's okay. And so what I have just told myself is, God, thank you for allowing me to be there for them during that season that they needed me.
Mm,
And I am a firm believer. I didn't write this down, but I'm a firm believer in you reap what you sow.
mm-hmm,
And when you sow good seeds, you will reap a good harvest. And I have to just continue to think positively and think good things about me being there for people in
yeah,
seasons
that's
where
good.
they weren't there for
That's
me.
good.
Cuz I'm like, honestly, it's not even about that. I wasn't doing it for anything in return. I was doing it because
That's
I'm a
good.
genuine
Yeah.
person, and I'm gonna reap good seeds for that.
Absolutely.
And that's something that keeps me grounded.
I love that. And when I
Yeah.
think about that, it's really truly not getting a hardened heart when you get hurt
Yeah.
and when you are disappointed in relationships and things like that. Like, and I love that. Like, reap what you sow, and God is going to bless you. You'll forever be blessed. So when people look at you and look at your life and be like, "Oh, yeah, because I do good."
And ooh, I love this.
Mhm.
I wrote down something that the grass is green where you water it.
Mm.
What you said made me think about that because a lot of times in life, we can compare
Mhm.
our lives to other people. We see them getting this big heart. Like, it just seems like their grass is that green is really greening. And it's
Right.
like, I want that.
Yeah, yeah,
But we can have that.
yeah,
You just have to put in the work.
yeah.
Because one, you don't know what type of work that person put in. You don't know what
You
type
don't
of
know.
seeds that person sowed.
You don't know.
So if you want your grass to be flourishing, all you got to do is water it. All you got to do is put in the work.
I love that. No, I love that. Yeah, it's just that simple. And I think with social media and us being able to see people's lives constantly, you know what I'm saying? You have to guard yourself
Yeah.
when you are desiring more and not turn into a jealous or envious
Right.
person when you see someone winning. Because one thing that I heard recently was just like, wait your turn. Because, like you just said, you don't know how that person got
Yeah.
what they have. And so, wait your turn. And I really, when I heard that, it literally was like something that I was like, wow, like that's so true. I
Yeah.
appreciate when God helped me wait for my turn because now I can appreciate what I have and
Right.
it's not just going to be taken away from me, just that
Right.
simple. And
Right.
so it also makes me think about leaning on God more because with life, with our, you know what I'm saying, with the things that we're learning, we have to lean on God because sometimes we don't understand.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're human. So sometimes things hurt us, sometimes things disappoint us,
Mm.
and it's not for us to have it's not for us to make things happen or to start doing things on our own.
Yeah.
It's leaning on God, allowing God to work it out, allowing God to help us,
Mm.
give us strength in those seasons. And that is something that I really had to learn because with me, with the wedding and planning that, like, it's a complete foreign territory for me.
Yeah.
And when it comes to y'all, weddings are expensive. They're very expensive. And I'm like, God, you gonna have to cover the bill because
Right.
I'm looking around.
I'm leaning in on God. I'm leaning on you
Literally, yeah, no, for
to help
real.
me.
I'm leaning on you to figure things out that
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity for.
Yeah.
I don't have the willpower for. And so, yeah, that's me
Yeah.
right now.
And another thing is when learning to lean on God,
Mhm.
also something that I have realized and we have talked about several times is ripping your list.
It's a good one. I love it.
Ripping your list
Yes.
because God doesn't need our help. He only needs our participation.
Come on.
And something that I was in church once and my dad, he's my pastor dad, and he said this. He told everyone, get a pen, get a piece of paper. And he's like, what is it that you're believing God for? Write that down. And where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Write that down. So we just write and I'm writing. And then he says, all right, ball it up and throw it on the other side of church.
Right.
What? Huh? What? He's like, because God don't need our help.
Mhm.
You want what God has for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because if you trying to make things happen on your own,
Oh no.
you're gonna have to keep up with it on
Mhm.
your own,
Mhm.
and so that is definitely something that I have learned and I'm still learning, especially as we talked about how the grass is green where you water it, not
Mhm.
comparing yourself, and just really stewarding your season well. Because I, I I was thinking about this the other day. of when we were in high school
Mm-hmm.
and the different things that
Yeah.
we were into and we were desiring during that time, whether it was the guys, just things. And then I look at where we are now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just like, thank you, Lord, for not giving me what I thought I wanted.
In that season.
Thank you
Yeah.
for not giving me what I thought I wanted. He gave me exactly what I needed.
Yes.
And now, like, life is sweeter.
Absolutely.
And so that is something that I have learned and I am still living by
I,
is you've got to rip that list.
I love that. I love that. And I think I had a time where I had to rip up my list because I thought I knew
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
I thought I knew. And I was like, actually, I don't. God, you know me way better than I know myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to allow you full control.
Woo!
And I'm going to take my rightful place and allow you to do what you do best.
Do what you do best, God.
So I love that. Yes. And I'm thinking about my list, embracing the uncomfortable.
Ooh, and I wrote something down that says if you want what you've never had, you gotta do what you've never done. Do it scared.
Yeah, do it scared. Do it and embrace it.
Embrace it.
Because it's gonna be the best season once you get through it. You'll learn everything that you need. Yeah. And like the most uncomfortable, when you're in the most uncomfortable season, I promise you, like if you start to appreciate the little things and look around you and look what's working for you and things like that, like you'll be like, wow, like I learned this, I figured this out, I learned that. And it's just like it makes you a better person. Yeah. And that is something that I'm like, okay. Because sometimes we're so focused on everything that's not working. Yeah. And we're like this is uncomfortable. And it's like in that very season is, and you kind of prolong it in a way. Yeah. Because you're like focused on the wrong things. Yeah. But it's like, and we did this in our single season. We were like, we want to be in a relationship so bad. We don't like how uncomfortable this is. Like, we know we're wives. Like, why don't we have our man? And when we started to embrace the uncomfortable, I promise you, y'all. Yeah. And when we started just like minding our own business, not even studying what God was going to do. Mm-hmm. That's when it happened. That's when it hit us. That's when it hit us. And also something that what you said made me think about was I feel like doing that has also helped me grow on my spiritual journey because we're really exercising the concept of faith. Yes. Which is, I don't know the outcome, but I trust God. I trust God. And I don't even see it, but I trust God. I trust God. I'm scared. I don't know, but it's not for me to figure out. I'm just going to trust that God has my best interest and he's going to work it out. Yeah. I trust him with my life. I trust him with my life. And I think when you were saying that of trusting God, there's going to be so many distractions. There's going to be things that are going to come up in your life that are going to literally try to knock you off course. But then that you have to lean back on that faith part. I trust God, even though this is my reality and this is what I'm seeing right in front of me. And one thing that we're learning our series right now at church at New Faith is building. It's a building season. And so one of the things that we're learning is just like to see it. I love that. You gotta, we talk about this, we dream big. And not only do we dream big, we like to be exposed to big. So we may, I know you were telling me you would go look at really nice cars and I remember I would go drive in these beautiful neighborhoods. I have like this park that I go to. And I love to just walk around the park because there's beautiful homes all around. Oh. Even when you're driving up to it, like the neighborhood is just a vibe. It's everything that I want in a neighborhood. And so I love to just be in the vicinity of it or the proximity of it, because I want whatever is in this environment to rub off on me. And I want to be able to be like, if I see it, then it can happen. I believe it. It opens you up. Yeah, it opens you up. Ooh. And so, that's something that I'm like, I'm having faith. I'm believing. And if I don't believe, I'm going to put myself in atmospheres, in rooms where it's all around me. So I
Yeah.
can't just avoid it.
Yeah. Something my sister, she says often is proximity is key.
Mm-hmm.
And when you had mentioned about you just like to go into those
Mm-hmm.
communities,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that is key. If you can see it, God can do it.
Absolutely.
We not dreaming small over
Mm-mm.
here.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Woo, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else you got on your list?
Ooh, okay. So one thing that my husband
Yes,
I was
your
like,
husband in a how many
what
days?
is it? Oh,
It's
40. No, I think it's 39. Yesterday was
ooh,
40.
wow.
39 days. My husband, my soon to be husband, he reminded me something that I've been learning is to trust in him more. But
Mm,
for me, it's even bigger than that. It's like
yeah.
learning how to submit
Woo.
to leadership. And I think that's something that for me is a challenge because I am an alpha woman. I am an
Yeah.
independent woman. I know what I want. I feel like I know a lot of things. Like I feel like I've been doing, but God put someone in my life that He granted to lead me, right? And so because of that, I've had to learn how to follow his leadership and understand, or not even necessarily, because sometimes I don't understand, but to respect
And
him
trust.
and trust him. And so that's something that I'm learning in this season. And it's getting me far. Like, I feel like a lot of the things that the directions in which he's leading me in, it's like God's giving him the authority, but he looks to God. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like because of his relationship with God, he's then able to lead us. And
Yeah.
so I have to trust who God placed in my life to
Mm,
lead us. And so it's been a challenge, but I'm grasping it. I'm getting it.
that's
And
good.
I'm appreciative that he's been able to be patient with me through this process.
And I feel like it's still going to be a process because
Mm-hmm.
we're itching up on that 1 year mark of being married. And to this day, I can't even lie and be like, yeah, girl, like I'm there. I am still learning. Something that my husband tells me at least once a week is you're going to trust your husband. And it be in the small things
Right.
like, hey, babe, take this route home. Hey, babe, do this. And I don't do it, or I'll be like, I know an easier route, I know a faster route. You know what I'm talking about, or I know what I'm doing, and then I
Right.
end up in a pickle that he got to help me. And he always says this: when you gonna trust your husband? So it's definitely something that I am still embracing. And for me, sometimes it don't be in the big things; it be in the small
I
things
do.
that I'm like, you gotta let that go, BJ. You gotta trust him
Yeah.
in everything. So that's good.
That's good. What do you have on your list? That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. So y'all, I said this is a list of things that we have learned and we are still learning. So this thing that I have down is the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Mm,
And
that is.
I am a professional planner. I have tons of notebooks around the
Mhm.
house. If you open my phone and go to my notes, I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of dreams. But the execution, one
Mm,
thing.
mm,
The life that I see
mhm.
is going to be a result of the work that I'm doing. It's going to be a result of that
Absolutely.
execution. And so something that I have to continue to remind myself is stop romanticizing my plans
Mm,
but dreading the execution.
mm,
I'm like, I love it. Oh,
yeah.
I wrote this down. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When you going to execute it?
Right.
The magic that I'm looking for is in the work that I have been avoiding, that I have not been executing. And that is something that I am learning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get it, but then other times I fumble the bag. And I'm definitely having to speak that over my life
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Execute.
Execute. No, I think I feel like we both struggle with that. I made a post about it and I was like speaking to like the little girls that I'm like, you can buy all the things for whatever business venture you have and then hide it, walk around it,
Yeah.
things like that, and you just don't execute. And while I was listening to you, I'm like, why is that? Like, why are we not going forth and just making things happen? Because,
I have a theory
mhm,
for
okay,
it, but you can continue. I don't
yeah.
want to interrupt your
No,
thought.
tell me your theory.
So for me, because in going deeper
Yeah,
and why
yeah,
why
yeah.
aren't you executing? I feel like in this social media age,
Mm-hmm,
it's so beautiful, but it
mm-hmm.
can also be very
Yeah,
damaging because you're constantly comparing and just like,
absolutely.
well, I put this out. I didn't get a lot of likes on it. People don't really want to, they're not interested in what I have to offer. But the thing about it is success is the sum of small steps repeated day in and day out. So you're not going to see the fruit in a day.
Yeah,
Some people, it happens for them. But if you put aside a small amount of money every day, well, by the end of the year, you're going to see a big fruit. But if you waiting
yeah,
until you get that lump sum of
mm-hmm,
money that you was expecting,
yeah,
it may not happen.
yeah,
And so that's something that I think that's wise because we're comparing
yeah.
ourselves
No,
and we're just
absolutely.
like, again, we don't want to be rejected. Who doesn't want to, not have a big following,
Yeah,
not you have to be very secure in yourself to know that
yeah. No, that's
if I reach one person,
that's enough.
that's enough.
No, that I was thinking about the series, like I told you, we're on a series about building, and one of the things that my pops says is we're professional quitters, and not
Hmm.
only are we professional quitters, we quit at those like voices. So this makes me think about why I stopped posting TikToks, and I remember I was posting a lot.
Hmm.
And one of the videos that I posted, I got some feedback from somebody I really respect in my life, a family member of mine. And they were like, oh, like, you don't really sound like yourself. And that immediately made me feel like, dang, like, what am I doing this for? Like, what? Like, this is embarrassing. Like, I don't know. I just went into like a deep, weird place and I was just like, I don't want to post anymore. And when that happened, it just made me think about like me listening to those voices and that tripping me up to where it's like now I don't even post something that I felt like God gave me to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something I'm still struggling with. And I'm like, I have to block out noise. I can't be tripped up by every little voice because sometimes the enemy uses people to trip you up.
To distract you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a similar experience. I remember I was going Pilates, and this particular day, I just got back in town. I had been traveling and I did not want to go to my Pilates class. I literally just got home from being out of town. And I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to push myself. And so I'm headed there. Now, mind you, I just got off a plane. I'm looking a little crazy, like my hair just not all the way together, but I'm headed to Pilates. I'm not worried. I was like, let me go ahead and post something on my story to encourage our friends, to let them know, do it even when you don't feel like it. I posted the video. I don't remember if I put a filter or not on it. I posted the video and someone responded to that story and was just like, yeah, your hair does look a mess. And I feel like during those times, that kind of like distracted and discouraged me because I'm like, oh, I don't need to be on here embarrassing myself. Now, mind you, I didn't when I look back on that video, and I think I told you about it, it wasn't a mess. I just looked normal. I did not look my put together self. You know, I was just in my authentic nature. And if you don't be careful, you will allow people, their
Mm-hmm.
responses to
Mm-hmm.
distract you
Mm-hmm.
from and discourage you from what God has really called you to. And I'm like, had I not posted that video or continue to post my videos, people,
Yeah.
it could be helping
Yeah.
someone. If it's
Yeah.
one person that it helps to say, you know what, I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like going to the store, doing
Yeah.
whatever it is I
Yeah.
need to do, but
Yeah. Yeah.
your post helped me and helped to encourage me. It's just like you really got to block out the noise because
Mm-hmm.
the enemy can use
Yeah.
anyone.
And I think too, what we're realizing is we're relatable. I one thing about our styles is we love the natural, effortless looks.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to get it. You're not my audience. And that's
Yeah.
okay. And I think that's when we have to realize, like, we have to go back. Like, is that person my audience?
Yeah.
No. Then why did I trip off of
Right.
their
Yeah.
comment? And I can, if I'm honest, the person that made a comment to me wasn't my audience.
Yeah.
And for you, probably the same. And so it's just like, we're not doing it for everybody.
Yeah.
We're not doing it for everybody.
And
So,
that's definitely something that I'm still coming to terms with, because the thing about social media, when you put yourself out there, you are
mm-hmm.
subjecting yourself for positive feedback, negative feedback, and you have to be strong enough and prepared
Yes,
for whatever is going to come back to you. But you have to keep that the greater purpose in mind, because it'll keep you motivated and
absolutely.
encouraged to continue.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. It's a process that you have to go through. You have to get thick skin,
Yeah.
and it's not for everybody, but I do believe that we're called to it, which is why we
Right.
struggle with it so much. But when you go back
Yeah.
to your point and the things that you're learning, it's like that's something that again we're learning in this season, and with our accountability, we're going to
Yeah.
continue to encourage each other to continue
Yeah.
to push forward. And
But I do think that
mhm,
is one of the hindrances
yeah.
as to why some people like myself, they're a professional planner but dread the execution, because when you're first starting out at something, you may not, and I always say that we live in this social media era because we do, and I feel like it impacts a lot of the things that we do and how we feel. And it's like you can put something out there and you're like, oh, it didn't get that many likes as
Yeah.
it should have,
Yeah.
didn't get that many views, and so it discourages you. But it's like the results are in doing something consistently. If
Mhm.
you consistently want to have your body look a certain way, you want to tone, how you get those results is by going to the gym, being active consistently every day.
Absolutely.
And you gotta tune out the distractions of, this didn't do as good as that person. Well, and like we always say, if we're touching, if we're helping one person, which I know it's a little more than that, but if we're helping that one person, we're doing well. And you just got to be consistent. And that's definitely something that I feel like we're learning even with Evolve-ish.
Yes. Evolve-ish is definitely, and I think that's why we have been able to flourish and continue to be consistent through this process, because we lean on each other a lot through
Yeah.
this process. It's like, nope, when one person is like, the other person's like, all right, let's go, let's get it. Like, and that has helped us a lot. And
Yeah.
I hope we can, within our own personal brands, be able to flourish and,
Yeah.
just do, because I think in life in general, like, and I think that's what's so great about us is we're similar, but we're also very
Yeah.
different, and we're called to different people,
Yeah.
and so through our life, through the experiences that we've been through, we're going to help people in different ways. And I love this platform because we're able to just show each other, like, we're able to like be on the same platform together and embrace our differences, but also share our similarities.
Yeah.
And it still connects and draws all types of people. So
Yeah.
I'm just grateful.
Yeah. Whew. What else is on your list?
So this is kind of like my last thing that I have on my list, and it's taking time for me. That is something, like I was thinking about how life is stretching us, right? And we're both in relationships, and when you're in your single season, you have a lot of me time. But when you're in a relationship, you're now dividing that time. And
Yeah.
so for me, I'm trying to just enjoy the little things. I always say that a lot, and just find my happiness without just being so wrapped up in my relationship. I'm so grateful for my relationship. But I also don't want to lose me in the process. And so taking time out for me, doing things that I love to do, it really helps ground me, and it
Yeah.
keeps me staying true to who I am and not losing me. So that's something that I'm leaning into and finding more me time, because I know in the future I'll have kids and I'll be balancing a lot of different things, and I don't want to lose me through the process. So I want to make sure that I, find new hobbies that I like, and just be able to do, I love self care, self care queen. And so having those days where I just
Yeah.
pour into me, love on me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That's beautiful, and I think once you are continuing to make sure your cup is
Yeah.
filled, you'll be able to pour into others from
Yes.
your full and happy cup. And that is definitely, I think that's something that will just always be a work in progress, because to your point, we're going to continue to evolve into new roles. And so continuing to just like have that concept in mind of making sure that you carve out time for yourself. And for me, it's in the small things. Like I be going to the grocery store and I'm like, what do I even like to eat?
Yeah.
Like, what do I
Yeah.
like to snack on? What do I like to drink? But it's something that is a beautiful concept that we will always have to, go back
Yeah.
to. This was so needed. I
Yes.
love these
Yes.
type of conversations. There's so many other things that I know we have
Yeah.
learned,
Yeah.
but these are definitely at the top of our list. So we hope that it has encouraged you in some way. And if you have things that you are
Yes.
learning during the season, share it with us.
Yes. We would love to read them and see,
Yeah,
because we're all friends to this community.
yeah.
And what we're learning, you guys probably will be like, oh, I resonate with, and we may resonate with some of the things that you guys are learning. And it would just be nice to share.
Yes. And so, friends, y'all already know what to do. Follow us on all of our social channels. We have TikTok, we have Instagram,
Yes.
and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find our podcasts on all streaming platforms that podcasts are